Hey, I'm gonna do something a little different today. I'm just gonna start a multi-part thing where I show how to draw. In this case, I'm just gonna start with something extremely basic. Uh, Manga eyes. So, I'm gonna sketch in a face real quick, and I'm gonna come back and do that, and we'll see what we learn from that. Alright, so a little time lapse there, just to get the body more or less long. Figure out where this neck should be. But this isn't a video about necks, so I'm just going to ignore it for now. Get a little mouth in there, and I have no idea what this character's going to look like because it's not one of mine. But we'll just keep going, regardless of that, because this is about the eyes. So, as you probably saw in the what I've done so far, just trying to get the basic shape, keep them basically level or even. I find that you can kind of get them a little uneven, and it'll kind of look more like a perspective thing rather than just that you got them uneven. So sometimes you don't have to worry about it too much, but yeah. So other things to note: they should be about one-ish eyes apart, and yeah. So you can shape them however you want. I'm going for more of what I do either for villains, or sometimes I do them depending on the setting. I do like this hook back here. I'll exaggerate it more if the character is supposed to be Asian. It's just something I started doing because with manga eyes and manga in general, there's not a lot of details about the corners of the eyes, but that was one area where I was like, you know what, that is actually a way I can kind of indicate that. So I haven't gotten any complaints about that yet. So you could also do it for just a character you want to have that you want to have. Is it Batwing eyeliner? One of those types of eyeliner. I don't know. I'm not a makeup artist, but so erase some of this, and we'll get to work. I'll just wait to do that. I just want to have a rough idea of where everything is. Alright, so, again, you can do your own thing, especially with manga, but I am going to do the lower eyelash, or whatever, lower lid lines. Get that a little uneven. When using guidelines, you know, like this line, it's only as good as the original one that you did. So, just do that. Drop that in there. And you can do this however you want. I'm gonna just have it look her. This is female eyes, because everybody, if you're like me, you'll get much better at drawing female characters and stuff than you will male, because there's so much more you can do, unless you're the artist that draws JoJo, in which case you make the males look as interesting as the female characters. Sometimes to hilarious results, but just trying to make sure these are matched. Most of what you'll be doing when drawing eyes is just trying to make sure they match well. It's just something you have to get used to, that they're not probably going to match very well the first time. Manga eyes are significantly more forgiving on that front sometimes than if you're drawing something more realistically. And as you can see, now that I've got the shape more defined, I am just pulling these lines around to try to thicken up and better define this shape. Alright, and then I'm also going to pull this up a little, just like this, just to try to match kind of the curve that I have on that one. And then you're going to want to pick your light source. I'm going to do just the classic from up here, so light's coming up from there, and let's do some circular highlights. Sometimes if you want to be fancy, you can do a secondary one. And then, let's see, figuring out the pupils can be difficult depending on what you're doing. Just for the sake of this video, I don't usually do this, but you can do similar to what you would do in a head. You can do center lines to help you get your spaces right. And you don't even have to draw pupils. On a lot of my characters, if I'm going for like a cuter character, something that's more like a shoujo manga, like Fruits Basket or something like that, on female characters especially, or younger characters, you can just ignore the pupils altogether. I'm going to be doing kind of a hybrid of that, where they're kind of there, kind of not there, and and then I have these guidelines, which I can just erase. I did them dark, so they're probably going to show up as ghost lines, but and then I'm just going to mark that these are to be shaded in with this, just so you can kind of see where I'm going with this. And then another thing you can do is, when doing eyes like this, if you're going to cell shade them, which is kind of how I'm going to do it with marker, you can just mark the different zones, again with different pencil textures, or however you want to do that. And looking at this, I also feel like the mouth is a bit low, even though this isn't a video about mouths. Let's give her a smug cat mouth. In fact, you know what I've never done is I've never done anything remotely like Catgirl-like, so we'll see what happens with this video after I go into the final time lapse. But this is a really fine line pencil. I am going to switch up to one of my thicker ones. Pop an eraser in there. One of my thicker ones, just to do these eyelashes. And immediately break my lead. Don't try this at home, kids. Alright. Screw it. It's a cat girl. I've never done a cat girl before. Let's learn it. Let's learn how to draw cat girls together, shall we? Is this when I find out my hidden talent of being one of those guys that draws that on the internet? Is that what this is going to be? But yeah, as far as eyes go, that's basically it. Let me throw up another ear. Let's get these shaped. Again, I don't know what I'm doing. But, and then eyes, again, I have these sort of eyelids. And then let's do eyebrows. Eyebrows can be tricky because the slightest thing completely changes your emotion. Actually, you know what? This is erasable. I'll show anyway. Like, if I wanted to make her look like she's suspicious, you can do that. I kind of like that, actually. Let's leave it like that. You know what? Maybe not. But And again, you can kind of just follow where we still have a little bit of this center line here. I always have trouble with eyebrows myself. I have insanely thick ones, so I could literally just do a Sharpie, and I would be able to do my own eyebrows. Doing other kinds of eyebrows, not so much. But I think that's pretty good. And then your hair, again, this is not a video, and this is more supposed to be about eyes. But you can kind of box out a hairline, because you do have to plan your hair somewhat to whatever your eyes are going to be. But generally your hairline's going to come around like that. And I think that's all for this. And I'm going to finish this up a little bit more, and then we'll be back for when I actually ink these. Alright, so we're back. Just threw in a few other lines here, and I'm just going to go into inking these and then finally coloring. So, as you can see, I'm using one of my thicker tipped inking pens for this, just because I prefer that for doing eyelashes, especially thicker eyelashes. Let's face it, if you're doing a cat girl, she's probably going to be wearing cute makeup. Or I guess this really isn't a cat girl. I don't know if it's more of a cat girl or an echo. I don't know. This happens when you just decide to do things spur of the moment. Like literally this afternoon I was like, you know what I should do? I've never done just a how to draw video. At least. Well, I've done how to chip post, I guess. And if you're like me, worse than the other eye syndrome is that you get other eyelash syndrome. Don't know what to tell you about that if you're running into that, because I haven't solved it for myself. But another thing with manga is you don't always have to do every single line like super solidly. Like I'm doing nice thick lines here. Come down. A very thick line, but I'm actually going to leave that blank just because aesthetics. Again, this eye is turning out way better, quite frankly. In fact, I'm going to actually ugly it up just so they match a little better. And so that they both have the same. And also, let's get that there. That. A little highlight. Do that, just so I have a better idea of where that's going to go. And then that's pretty much all for the eyes. So just continue some of the other stuff around the eyes. And then I will come back for the final bits. Alright, let's throw in some color real quick. And then I'll finish it up. I don't know, I'm seeing like a violet maybe. Let's do that. So I'm going to put in a base color. And hope my black doesn't bleed too badly. You can already tell it is a little bit light. And that's a preference of mine. I like to work kind of, I'm missing my marker. There we go. But usually when I'm doing eyes, even if I'm doing it digitally actually, I will do the light first and then do the dark over top. This is the preference of mine. I find that it blends a little smoother. Probably zoom in a little bit more. Yeah. Depending how much blending you're actually going to do. I'm not anticipating a ton. I want this to look very cell shaded in practice. So. This is actually going to be mostly a black. I'm just doing the layer of blue just to kind of give it some tint when it's all done. You can do what you want. Wrong one. Just go back over with the purple and then I'll hold off on the... Actually, that looks pretty good. Let's go over this. I'm going to darken the other purple maybe. And yeah. There we go. So there's the eyes. Basic manga eyes. I'm going to finish up the rest of this real quick and then say goodbye. Because I'm not Mark Crilly and I am not fanciful with how I say goodbye. So. Alright, and I think that's about it. Yeah, never drawn a cat girl before, but, you know, whatever. Anyway, so that's how I would draw manga eyes and an accompanying cat girl face, and yay. If you like this video, let me know, and I'll try to do more of these, or on different topics, or anything like that. Anyway, see you later.